Can you really trust America? How much would you, trust America on a visit like this, on the statements that they're making, saying that this is the most important relationship for them at the time being, when they try to make that comparison to their diplomats making a visit to China, etc. How seriously would you take that? And how do you read this? Madhav Nalapat.
Well, yeah, I'd like to say that in my view, this visit is a transformational visit. And as Brahma very correctly said, Prime Minister Modi has visited the United States multiple times. The reality is the Americans are now fully aware that it is in their self-interest to have a strong relationship with India. As Brahma was saying, they have put Russia very firmly in the Chinese corner, practically as a satellite of China almost in some respects. And that is a catastrophe geopolitically for the entire democratic world. Having said that, let me also point out that Prime Minister Modi has taken the country on a path which is geared towards a foreign policy and a domestic policy that has a transformational edge to it. As a consequence, there is a significant orchestrated campaign in the US against India and in India against the United States. Now, the early statements that Brahma was referring to were because the Biden administration really hadn't read the geopolitical tea leaves sufficiently, and they were basically going by the sentiments of several of their party members who essentially, were reacting to fringe groups who were completely oblivious to the overall US national interest in having a strong relationship with India. Now, this orchestrated campaign is still on, and you will see signs of that when the Prime Minister visits the United States.
Yes.
Because the nightmare for China, the nightmare for Pakistan, the nightmare for Turkey, the nightmare for this alliance of authoritarians and extremists is that the two big democracies of the world start working in concert and coming together. That nightmare, they fear, is coming true. And they gave a blizzard of misinformation, both in India and the United States, about each other. And despite all that, I'm happy to say the Biden administration is today much more cognizant of US national security interests than it was during the time that Brahma was initially talking about, when it was negative about Prime Minister Modi and India. And I do believe they are basically laying out the red carpet for the Prime Minister, having a second joint session of Parliament address, very, very rare, and essentially, basically laying out, as I said, a very warm welcome for the Prime Minister, because they know very well it is Prime Minister Modi who got signed the 4 foundation agreements that are the bedrock of India-US military cooperation. Now, there's not much about that in public, but there's a lot of that going on. It is Prime Minister Modi, frankly, who made sure that the Quad was revived together with Shinzo Abe, and is now an important member of the Quad. So I'd like to say, in my view, there'll be a lot of effort at creating a lot of ambient noise against the visit by interested lobbies, basically relevant to China, relevant to religious extremism. But I do believe it's going to be an intensely successful visit, and Biden and Modi together understand the need for them to work together and for their countries to work together.
Yes. Aarti, I think the key words mentioned by both Madhav Nalapat and Verma Chalani was America acting in self-interest. And we know before the Prime Minister became the Prime Minister, the kind of relationship and the treatment he was handed out by America. And we talk about that every time he goes back to the US and every time the US rolls out a red carpet. Now,